I am not being hyperbolic here. I am going to show you clips of what I believe is Donald Trump's worst interview that I've ever seen him give. And I'm not going to say it's significantly worse than the Jonathan Swan Axios interview. It may be equally bad, but this is at least equally bad in terms of being Trump's worst interview that I have ever seen. I read that this took place and I couldn't believe it. I had to go and find the clip for myself. I read that Sean Hannity asked Trump about Biden's strategy of metaphorically banging your head against the wall and expecting results from that. It was a metaphor, the metaphor of banging your head against the wall. Donald Trump answered that the wall would have been done in 3 weeks if he had been reelected. Please understand what I'm saying. Hannity talks about metaphorically banging your head against the wall. And Trump answers about the literal wall that he claims he was building on the U.S.-Mexico border. And people are questioning Joe Biden's cognitive state. Listen to this.
So, it's, you keep banging your head against the wall. Why would you expect a different result?
So we would have had the wall completed in 3 weeks. It was largely completed.
So,
guys, this is a former president. It's a former president. At another point during the interview, Hannity says Trump created monoclonal antibodies. Now, I've heard Trump be wrongly credited with creating the vaccines, which he didn't do. Hannity is saying Trump created the monoclonal antibodies as well. I thought it was Regeneron. Take a listen.
You left office with 3 vaccines and monoclonal antibodies that you had created, which to this day I think is the best therapeutic. I advise people to talk to them.
It's a therapeutic. What? Trump now created the antibodies too? Like what is happening? People watched this. People watch this just on the basis of those 2 clips alone. This is the most insane interview I've seen Trump do, right up there with the Jonathan Swan interview. But then if I told you this, you'd say, David, sir, it's 2022. This can't be going on. Trump is still bragging about the dementia test. He's still talking about it.
Do you believe he's struggling cognitively? Because that question was raised about you, and I've been around you long enough to know that that's not a problem for you at all.
Well, I went and took a test, and as Dr. Ronnie Jackson, who's great guy, now he's a congressman, and they love him in Texas, but he said he aced it, and I don't think he ever saw anyone ace it. And I immediately said, because they started passing the false narrative.
Guys, he's still bragging about the dementia test. He thinks it's an IQ test. He thinks that doing well on a test meant to screen out relatively serious dementia, that he's worthy of Mensa membership or something. I mean, it's 2022 and he's still doing it in a moment totally beyond parody, in criticizing Joe Biden's thus far handling of the Ukraine-Russia situation. Trump says he never had a problem with Ukraine. What about the impeachment related to Ukraine? What?
These things would have happened. You wouldn't have had inflation. You wouldn't have had Ukraine problems with Russia. It was all working out. Everything was fine.
The guy was impeached over his problems with Ukraine. Continuing now, that I've never seen an interview like that. It's every answer is from another planet. Trump says windmills are ruining the atmosphere, guys. Wind farms, wind power.
And if you could start that up again and stop with all of the windmills all over the place that are ruining the atmosphere. You look at what's happening to these beautiful prairies and plains and these gorgeous areas of our country where they have these rusting hulks put up all over the place that are noisy. They're killing the birds. I mean, I don't get the environmentalist, and it's a very expensive form, probably the most expensive form of energy.
Now, understand, we could just do an hour on wind energy. Understand that each of these things has been studied. First and foremost, when technologies are newer, they are nowhere near full efficiency. So without a doubt, wind power will become more efficient, meaning being able to harvest more power, generate more power from the same amount of wind. We've seen it with solar panels. We've seen it all over the place. The bird stuff has been studied extensively. And while it is true that some birds are killed due to wind farms, the number of animals killed by fossil fuels is orders of magnitude greater on a per energy basis. It's been studied, but this is the stuff that the Fox audience accepts uncritically. Now, last clip here, and this is, again, I can't believe if there's ever been evidence that we're in a simulation, it's that Trump's still doing this stuff. Trump again brags about the size of the crowd at the insurrection.
And with a lot less than 20,000 troops also. The fact is, I knew it was going to be a massive rally because this was a protest rally against the election, which they considered to be totally rigged. They were right. And this was a protest against the election. And I was told by so many people, oh, we're going down on the 6th, we're going down. And that's why I met with the top people, top people in military and other places. And I said, I think this is going to be a lot of people coming down. I can tell you, I believe it was the biggest crowd I've ever spoken to. It was massive.
The absolute biggest crowd ever incited by a president to attempt an insurrection. We have never seen anything like this, truly. And the majority of the Republican Party, based on all recent polling, wants 4 more years of that, and they may get it. They may get it, depending on what happens in 2022. And of course, what happens with Trump's health and whether Joe Biden runs again and all these different things. But more than half of them want it, and they may get it, which is absolutely horrifying. If you're having trouble thinking of what to give someone as a holiday gift, check out our sponsor, Shaker and Spoon, the monthly cocktail subscription box delivering the ingredients and recipes for craft cocktails right to your door. They send you everything you need to make the cocktails except for the alcohol. You provide that. It comes with a really nice recipe card, easy to follow. My most recent Shaker and Spoon cocktail creation was called the Capri Crush. It's a Campari and gin drink with spiced orange grapefruit cordial and Dash Fire orange bitters. Delicious. Mine turned out great. I know nothing about mixing drinks. Neither do most of my friends. But with my Shaker and Spoon cocktails, I ended up looking like I knew something about it, which is good. It's very good for my cred. You don't have to go to a crowded bar to enjoy an excellent cocktail. Shaker and Spoon lets you do it all at home. Great for date nights. Makes a perfect gift. And you'll get $20 off when you use the promo code Pacman at checkout. Go to shakerandspoon.com/Pacman, and the link is down below.